It looks like YouTube TV might be going dark for a ton of Roku owners. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur. Welcome to my media channel where we talk about streaming, physical media, and in today's case we're talking about a streaming platform, Roku, which I do have. Now over on this TV, I have an Apple TV Plus. Over in the living room, I have Roku. And also, I can stream stuff through PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and if I absolutely needed to, the Nintendo Switch. That one's a lot more limited, but there's a few things you can't stream on there. But here's the thing. Now we're at a situation, because one of the reasons I put Roku in the living room is because they have YouTube TV. Now YouTube TV is also available on the Apple TV, but people seem to like the Roku controllers, not controllers, the remotes. You know, the arrows, the buttons. People tend to have an easier time using that than the Apple TV, so I keep the Apple TV in here. But that might pose a problem in the future for my company who might want to watch TV in the living room, because Roku and Google are arguing, and it can result in the removal of YouTube TV. Now, Roku has claimed up front that Google is making some monopolistic demands on the company. Now, what are those demands? Well, here's what some of them are according to Axios. YouTube wants Roku to create a dedicated search results row for YouTube within the Roku Smart TV interference. They want to make the YouTube search results more prominent. They want to block search results from other streaming content providers while using YouTube on Roku. And they want to favor YouTube music results from voice commands made on the Roku remote while the YouTube app is open. And this is the craziest one. They want to require Roku to use certain chipsets and or memory cards in future hardware. Now, Roku calls these requests, and I quote, predatory, anti-competitive, and discriminatory. Now, why are they predatory? Because here's the thing. YouTube and YouTube TV are big. YouTube is a brand name that everybody knows. In fact, you are watching this on YouTube right now. You might even be watching this video on your Roku device. And if YouTube goes away on Roku, well, no more Entrepreneur updates. And wouldn't that just be a sad thing for all 391 of you out there? Which, by the way, I appreciate every single one of you. But that said, is Google allowed to make these demands? Well, technically, yes. They're allowed to make demands. Like, Roku does not own the YouTube app. They do not own the YouTube TV platform. They are licensing it from Google. And if Google says, hey, we want these demands, or we don't want to be on your device, that's fine. They will take their device and leave. Now, what's Roku going to do about it? Well, not much. And here's the thing with Roku. Content is king, and that's where Roku, despite being the #1 streaming platform in the world, might have some disadvantages. They are hosting other people's content that, they also have a streaming platform. So let's say Amazon comes to Roku and they say, hey, we want you to prioritize Amazon over the other apps. Well, Roku might say no. Then Amazon will take Amazon away from Roku. Now, people might say, well, but then people might not subscribe to Amazon. Well, not so fast. Amazon has their own device. They have the Fire TV. So, hey, you want Amazon Prime Video? Get an Apple Fire Stick. This is the same thing that Google can do. Hey, we know that YouTube is a major part of your life. A lot of you use YouTube TV, and you don't want to lose it. You don't want to switch to Hulu and give Disney money. So you know what? If Roku won't carry it, come get a Chromecast. It won't ever go away there. And by the way, when it comes to Amazon Fire Stick and Google Chromecast, they are also allowed to manipulate the results however they want, because guess what? They own the platform and they have a streaming service. This is why, anti-competitive laws are supposed to exist. That seems like a huge conflict of interest, that, Google can have a Chromecast thing and they are providing content to other providers, but then one day, hey, we want people to buy the Chromecast, so we're going to pull our content from those devices and we're going to carry them. And by the way, if you want to be on our platform, you are going to play second fiddle to our products. That is a huge, huge conflict of interest for everyone involved. It basically puts all the chips in Google's hands. And by the way, this also might be the future. I mean, look, other companies are going to be watching this, and Here, let's just think. I don't think Roku's going to cave. Roku has very strong convictions about these sort of things. What happens if YouTube and YouTube TV move off the Roku device? Well, the bottom line is I don't think a lot of people are going to give up YouTube and YouTube TV. It's just too big. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to switch to another box, whether that be Apple TV or Google Chromecast or even the Amazon Fire Stick. And if they have to switch over there, then they might just discontinue the Roku player altogether. But here's the other thing. What if sales of other devices increase tenfold because Roku loses YouTube? Well, that's going to send a very strong message that if you have a popular enough streaming service, you can effectively control the audience, you can control the money. And then what's to stop Netflix from creating a Netflix stick? What's to prevent Disney from creating the Disney box? Heck, Disney's little project name for their digital movie service movies everywhere was Key Chest. What if they revived it and the Disney Key Chest came out, which was the best way to watch Disney Plus? And by the way, now all of you people that we provide this app to, we have 100 million subscribers. You're going to accept our terms, or we will take our streaming app and we'll put it on the Key Chest box exclusively, and then they will sell more boxes that way. Like, this is where the streaming wars is going to get extremely ugly. Everyone will not only want to have their own streaming service, they're all going to want to have their own box or their own USB stick or whatever you want to call it. And we might be seeing the first steps of that. And the thing is, back when they had the HD DVD and Blu-ray war and the VHS and the beta war, at the time, everyone said consumers do not have the patience for a format war. And yet, we might be looking at a format war. Because, again, if YouTube moves off Roku and it goes to another device, then consumers basically have to either learn to live without it, and they're not going to learn to live without YouTube, I can guarantee you that, or they're going to have to get one of these other devices to watch YouTube, and before you know it, soon these streaming providers is like, hey, we not only want the service to be number one, we want a box that's number one, because those who control the box controls what service they get. And you're going to have people who have to now buy multiple different devices, multiple different boxes just for a certain streaming platform, and that is anti-competitive in nature. That is anti-consumer. And I don't think we would have use for it. I mean, boy, remember the good old days when you would buy a DVD and a Blu-ray player and all the discs just worked for it? Hey, isn't that great? Maybe we should go back to that. So, here's the thing. At the end of the day, cooler heads will probably prevail. This is just business, because the thing is, even though Google is pretty big, Roku is no slouch, and I bet that YouTube TV and YouTube would take a minor hit. In fact, I know for a fact my dad has a Roku device, and if they drop YouTube TV, which he is paying for, I want to add, well, he's not going to go without his live TV. He will cancel YouTube TV and he will sign up for Hulu. He will do so reluctantly because he likes YouTube TV a lot better, but he will sign up for Hulu Live, and that will be the end of it for him until YouTube TV comes back. But I do want to know, what do you all think about this news? And would you switch devices if YouTube and YouTube TV were to disappear? Would you miss your old buddy, the Aptrepreneur? Would you miss his little news commentary? I would like to know. I've got multiple devices, so whether or not YouTube TV stays or goes on Roku is, for me at the moment, not really a concern of mine. But you know what? I don't like it anyway, because again, it is anti-consumer, and I do not have a Chromecast. And you know what? Like I said, I have Roku, I have YouTube TV, I have PlayStation 5, I have Xbox Series X, I have Nintendo Switch, for whatever that's worth. I have some apps in my LG and Samsung Blu-ray players. If I have to buy one more device just to watch YouTube on the TV, that's going to be pretty annoying. I could do it. Chromecasts aren't that expensive, but at some point you have to say enough is enough. But I would like to know what you think about all of this. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.